I came to a realization of these, the importance of these three goddesses in Joyce's Ulysses and in Finnegan's Wake. He recognized them. His book is called Ulysses. And here you have Ulysses going through the initiations of the goddesses. And here's the Ulysses is Leopold Bloom. Leopold Bloom goes through Dublin. You have the nymph, Calypso. You have the nymph, Circe, rather ugly pig goddess there, the whore mistress in the brothels. Her name is Bella Cohen. And then you have the daughter motif. And I thought, you know, in the life of a modern Western man, these are the three main roles of the female after he has left the mother's house. Now, a lot don't leave the mother's house. You see, they really don't get into the influence of these three. You have to accept the influence. It doesn't do just to accept some simple seduction and then come out of it. You have to get the sense of what's happened there. All these experiences are there for you to experience. If you don't really experience the sense of it, nothing's happened. But these are the roles that the female plays, I think, and Joyce apparently thought also, in the life of the adult male. Now, the other initiation that is indicated in the Odyssey is the initiation of Odysseus' son, Telemachus, who is in the mother's house. Daddy has been away for 20 years in the wars and then lost at sea. And Athene, the goddess, comes and says to Telemachus, who is now 22 years old, he was 2 years old when Daddy left, leave your mother's house, go find your father. Well, in the myths, this motif occurs time and time again in the myths. Who is my father? Go find your father. This means find your manhood. The young man has to break from the mother and find his action, his male action. Now, in rituals and in myths, most of the problematic about finding your adulthood comes with respect to the male. Because the male has to intend to be an adult. For the young woman, it happens. With her first menstruation, she's a woman. Next thing she knows, she's a mother. She doesn't have to work this thing out. It's working it out on her. And the problem of the woman is to realize who and what she is. The problem of the male is to become what he can be. And all the myths know this, and all the myths build it up. The rituals of initiation of the male. I remember reading what seemed to me a beautiful remark that one of the young men in the Mandan tribe, this was a tribe in Minnesota up there in that area, that Catlin, this wonderful young painter who went out from Harvard in 1832 and was painting the pictures of these wild Indians and the magnificence of their rituals and so forth. These young men hung up by spikes through their pectoral muscles and beaten and so forth and so forth. They said, we have to learn to suffer in order to compensate for the suffering of our women. The life brings the suffering on the woman, and the man has to match it by suffering himself. And in the tribes of Brazil, in the jungles there, we're now hearing these initiations breaking the man, smashing him, giving him pain, are the male menstruation. That is to say, something is now living through his life that's not simply his personal intention. And this is what overcomes a woman. She lives the life of nature, whether she wills or nils. And if she nils, well, then she doesn't have her life at all. And the male, nature doesn't do this to him. Society does it. And life does it. And he's got to learn to live for something else besides his own little ego will. That's the sense of the mythic initiations.